Hello, on this video I'm going to talk about Nmap. Nmap is a tool that's used for any network engineer or cybersecurity people and also by hackers. This tool is a tool that we use to scan a network and to find out what computers do you have up in the network, and also to target a desired computer to see if there's any problem or any vulnerability with a given computer in a network. So the basic commands for Nmap is nmap and then tac. Hackers call the dash a tac. So I guess if you want to be cool, you call this a tac. So nmap, tac v, and the v stands for verbose. You can ignore this if you want to, but I always like to put the tac v here. Then your target, in this case here it's a range. It's a range from 192.168.1.200 all the way to 210. And then you have a couple of parameters right here. So the tac max retries 1 and the tac max scan delay is 0. I use these here often because I want the scan to go faster. However, you have to play with these things here so the intrusion detection system from the target that you're going after will not detect you and it will not block you. So after you run this command here, then your next one is to run a more aggressive scan. That will be the tac capital A. And then usually you run this against a single computer. You can, if you want to, run against a series of computer, but it's going to take a long time. Now, there's a lot more other options here for your Nmap. If you just do a search for Nmap on the internet, it will tell you all the other types of parameters you can put here, and then it will make your results differently. Alright, so let's open the Kali machine and let's run these two commands here to see how it works. Alright, so now I'm going to start my Kali machine. And I start a couple of other machines here just for test purpose. So during the scan, we are going to be able to find something on the network. The username is Kali and the password is Kali as well. So now I'm going to open the terminal and now I'm going to run the Nmap. I'm going to put a tac v. All the cybersecurity people call this a tac instead of dash. I guess if you want to be cool, we have to call tac as well. So nmap tac v. Then the range of the target that you want. 192.168.1.135 all the way to 140. The reason I'm picking up the range is that I know that there are some computers right here in this range. But if you don't know if you have computers or not, then you need to pick a larger range. So I'm going to press enter. And while Nmap is scanning, it will give you all this information if you choose the tac v for verbose. So it looks like it found a couple of computers. So let's take a look here. So I found something at 192.168.1.137. That is a Debian machine that I have running. And it's a LAMP server, so that's why it has port 22 and port 80 open as well as 443. So this is going to be your SSH. This is your HTTP and HTTPS as described right here. And then after that, I have a Windows 7 machine on this lab. So this is a Windows 7 PC. The IP is 192.168.1.138. And then I turned off the firewall and I opened a series of ports on purpose just so you can see how the ports are here. So there's definitely a bunch of ports open. And then finally I also have the 192.168.1.139 machine. This is another Kali machine that I have open. So now that we did a scan to find out which hosts are open on the network, and then we found 3 of them. So let's do a more aggressive scan on a single server only. So I'm going to start doing that on the first one, which is a Debian. So I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to run an nmap tac v. Then this time tac capital A. Capital A is for more aggressive. The tag A is a combination of other parameters all combined for you. So that's nice that they have everything together. So tag A, then the IP address that I want to go to, which is the 137. So I'm going to press enter. And what it does, it gives you a lot more information about that host because you're running the tag A for aggressive. All right, so I'm going to go up here a little bit to see the reports. So notice the Debian, then the ports, then there's a port 22 for SSH. Then I also know I'm running Apache and the version of Apache. It looks like it's Unix. And there's a lot more other information. We know it's a Bitnami LAMP kind of server and all the other information here about the server. So for a hacker, this is crazy useful because now you can go do a search on, let's say, Apache, this version here, and see if there's any vulnerability on this specific version of Apache. And if there is, then you can use that to exploit this machine. Or also see if there's any vulnerability on Bitnami LAMP servers and whatnot. So this gives a lot of information. Let's do another aggressive scan, but this time let's target the Windows 7 that I had open, and the IP address for that machine was 138. So I'm gonna press enter again. So now let's see what's on that Windows 7 machine. All right, so after a while, it gives the reports just like before. It gives you a lot of information here that hackers can use to exploit this given machine. So we know it's a Windows 7 PC, Windows OS, and a lot more information. A lot of ports open, the HTTP, the version, and whatnot. So anyway, so this is how you use the Nmap to do a scan on your local network. When you're scanning a home network, most likely you do not have any intrusion detection system. On this lab here, I do have one, and it works very well. And also it captures and sends me alerts when there is some kind of scan going on here on the network. Now, whenever you start scanning the internet, that's a different story. Because once you start scanning the internet, you actually go out to the internet and they know who you are. Your internet service provider knows that there's traffic coming from you. They have your credit card because guess what? They installed the internet in your house. So they know who you are, they know your name, they know your credit card, they know everything about you. And when you start scanning the internet, they know that bad traffic is coming from your machine. So they know who you are. And also, nowadays, firewalls are very cheap and then can log just about any attack you might want to do. For example, in my home, I do have a firewall, and it's the same firewall that's used on many large corporations that I got from the internet for free. And then I bought a computer from Craigslist for about $20 and then installed. And then I installed the firewall on this machine, and voila, I do have here a enterprise grade firewall together with an intrusion detection system, and that gives me alerts when something is going on. So this machine here cost me about $20. So if I can do this, then any company can do that as well quite cheaply. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is that they know who you are when you're on the internet, and also the companies will log your IP address and they can come after you. So because of that, you need to hide. And the way you hide is, one is with a VPN and the other one is with proxy. So in my home, I do have a VPN, and the VPN that I use is NordVPN. So NordVPN tells me that I'm protected and tells me that this is my external IP. Now, this is not my IP. This is the IP from the VPN. Now, if I go do a search and I search for what's my IP, then DuckDuckGo thinks I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and thinks that this is my IP address. Now, I'm definitely not in Atlanta. I am in Seattle right now. So this tells me that my VPN is working. The internet and everybody else thinks in Atlanta now. All right, so that's one way for you to hide, through VPN. The other one is through proxy. So let's take a look on proxy now. So the proxy is just a computer on the internet that lets you hop through it to go to another computer. So let's say this is you, and this is your internet service provider. That's going to be your Time Warner or your Xfinity or CenturyLink or VSATs or whatever internet service provider you might have. And then you go to a proxy. Then from the proxy, go to another proxy, and then you go to the target. Now, you can have as many proxies as you want here, but the whole idea here is that the ISP knows who you are. So whatever traffic you send from you to your ISP, they know who you are, they know what you're doing. Then you're going to go to a proxy, and then to your final targets. Now, your target may not know who you are because your target thinks that you are right here on this proxy computer. And hopefully this proxy computer here does not keep any logs, and therefore, just in case if the target comes later and asks this computer, hey, who was coming in at a given time, then this proxy cannot answer the question. And if they can, there's another proxy right here, and then this proxy here, hopefully again, does not keep any logs, and therefore this proxy does not know where your traffic came from. But again, your ISP, they will know, and that's where the VPN comes in play here. So this is a way better approach. So a VPN together with a proxy. And the reason you use a VPN is because with the VPN, in my case here it's a NordVPN, the traffic that comes from you to the VPN servers is encrypted. So your internet service provider, although they know you're going to the VPN server, they do not know what you're doing. Whatever traffic you send from here to here goes encrypted. They do not know if you're doing online shopping, or if you're doing online dating, or if you're doing something malicious. So your VPN is going to protect you leaving from your house to the VPN servers. Then after that, you go to your proxy, and to your targets. And again, just in case if your target wants to track back where the traffic came from, they go to the proxy. Hopefully the proxy does not keep any logs. Say they cannot answer the question of where the traffic came from. And then this proxy here is the same thing, and hopefully your VPN also does not keep any logs of any information. As far as I know, NordVPN does not keep any track or any log of anything. So this is a safer approach for you to reach a target. Now, this is not illegal. However, you must have permission from the target to do the scanning. Otherwise, this will be illegal, and yes, they may come after you. If you have this set up here, it's going to be very, very hard for your target to find out that you did something stupid. But it's not impossible. It's just very, very, very difficult and very, very, very unlikely that your target will be able to figure out where the traffic came from. In this case here, it's you. Whenever you use the VPN, a lot more people are also using the VPN, because the VPN companies, they have many, many servers, but they have hundreds of thousands, hopefully, people that use the VPN. So you have these people here coming, then they go somewhere, let's say they go to AmericanAirlines.com to buy a trip somewhere. And then let's say the other person here goes to Google. And then another person goes to the VPN and they go through, I don't know, shopping. And more computers, they come to the VPN and they go somewhere else. So after a while, we have so many people that come to the VPN and go somewhere else that the volume of traffic going out of the VPN is so large that again, it's going to be very hard to find out who you are between all this traffic coming through here. And the same thing happens with the proxy. The more people use the proxy and they go some other location, the more confusing it is for this proxy here to find out which traffic came through here. And the same thing happens to this proxy here. Many people come, use this proxy, and go to some other location, other servers. So it's very, very difficult for someone to figure out that you are the one who went through all the way here. So again, the information that's passing through here is encrypted. Nobody knows what it is. And then here, hopefully nobody keeps the log, so you're safe. Again, Don't do this unless the target authorized you to do this scan. Alright, so let's work on the proxy then. So first we need to search the internet to find some proxy. And then once you search the internet, we're going to use Kali and we're going to use Proxychain and set up the Kali machine to use proxy so it can hide you from your potential target. So back to my Kali machine. I'm going to open the browser. Then I'm going to search for SOX5 proxy. So let's go over this one here, SOX5 proxy list. So here we have a bunch of proxy. So let's try a couple of those. Let's try the one for Germany. So I'm going to try this one here. So this is a proxy and this is the ports. And now that I have a proxy and a port, I'm going to do a search on a file called Proxychains. And on my version of Linux, it's called proxychains4.config. So you're looking for a file that says proxychains and then the conf for configuration. So I'm going to edit this file right here. I'm going to use sudo, then vi etc proxychains.configuration. Alright, so the first thing I like to do is press ask, then colon, then type set numbers. And then with that, it gives me the line numbers. So right here on line 10, I want to uncomment the dynamic chain because the dynamic chain is the way you do it. So one proxy connects to the other proxy that connects to the other proxy. So in other words, it makes like a row of proxies. So I like that. So I'm going to comment the strict chain. And I do not like the strict chain because all proxy must be online. I'm going to be using a free proxy. So sometimes the proxies, because they're free, they're not online. And the dynamic chain, if a proxy is not online, it just skips. In other words, just one proxy needs to be online, but you can put as many as you want. And round robin, it just keeps on changing and rotating through the proxy. And random chain, well, it's a random proxy. So now I'm going to go all the way to the bottom of this file. And I'm going to comment it out the SOX4. And now I'm going to insert the SOX that I got from the list together with 8888 port. And that's a SOX5 if I remember correctly. And then I'm going to put a space and then the port 8888. I'm going to press ask, then column, and then W to write. And I'm going to stay right here in this file because if that proxy does not work, I'm going to have to put a new IP address. And now I want to open a new tab for the terminal. So I'm going to press Ctrl, Shift, and the letter T. And that opens me a new tab. Now I want to open Firefox with the Proxychains. So regularly you would open Firefox this way. And you go to a website. But we want to use the Proxychains. Once you use the Proxychains, then the traffic will be routed through that proxy to the website. So I'm going to type here proxy chains and then the place where I want to go. So I'm going to press enter and then it opens the Firefox for me. So that did not work. Let's go find more free proxies. Looks like the speed of this one is good, so I'm going to copy this proxy here. Looks like this one is in Mexico. And I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to go back to my proxy config file. Now I am going to delete this proxy, and I'm gonna put the proxy that I just copied. Now notice that I need to delete the column and put a tab here. Now I'm gonna run this again. All right, so it picked it up the chain. So this is the proxy that I put there. However, there was a timeout error here. So that means this proxy is no good either. So yep, bad proxy. Let's look at the next one. All right, so I just found another proxy right here. So hopefully this one is going to work. I'm gonna run the command again. And this is looking good. It's picking up here the proxy. I have a bunch of OKs. So this is looking good. And the browser open. So now here in the browser, I'm gonna type, what's my IP? And then DuckDuckGo thinks that I am on Canada. Now I'm definitely not in Canada. Right now I am in Seattle. So this here tells me that the proxy is working. If I go back to another machine in my network that I'm not using the proxy chain, then I'm in Atlanta. Again, I'm not in Atlanta. This is the VPN server. And then if I go back to my machine where I'm using the VPN and the proxy, now they think I am in Canada. All right, so now let's go to a website from Nmap, which is scanme.nmap.org. I'm gonna copy this URL. And this is a website that Nmap puts up there for us to test your scan. So by the time that I'm recording this video here, this website that you are authorized to scan this machine with Nmap. So because I'm authorized to scan this, then I will. By the time you're watching this video, come to this page here and see if they actually authorize you to do so. So I'm gonna press Ctrl C here just to kill everything. And now, instead of running Proxychains with Firefox, I'm gonna run Proxychains with Nmap. And I'm gonna use the tech SP here because I just wanna do a ping scan. I don't want to do a port scan. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to overload their server. And I'm just gonna copy the address here and I'm gonna drop again on a browser because I want to double sure that I'm scanning the specific this here and not making a typo. If you make a typo here, then you might go to a different place and you might scan a different place. I'm just going to scan the Nmap websites with the ping scan and using the proxy chain. And then that's a really quick scan, and that shows you how to do that using the proxy chain. So anyway, the whole purpose of this video here is to show you a little bit on how to use the Nmap, and then more important than that is to show you that you may be doing something illegal and ways for you to hide yourself for testing purpose. So don't go do anything stupid out there. Make sure you do have authorization to scan whatever server you're scanning, and to make more realistic, you can hide yourself on the internet just like a hacker would do it. So your end testing is more of a real world event as far as hacking is concerned. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.